Okay, so check this out. Got my first coat of high gloss tongue oil on this, and I haven't touched it yet. I've fussed it with the drawers so that I'd never fitted the drawers, so they're now great. Go in and out. They're not waxed yet, but they'll be perfect. I love it. All I expected out of the drawers. But the top, can you see the sheen that I got? Can you see the gloss, the level of gloss on this thing? I've never done anything like this before in my life. I think I hate it. I think I actually hate it. Pretty exciting. I don't know that I've gotten to the hate emotion before. Really hate it. Really hate it. I also, looks like I missed a spot right there. You weren't watching, or you were saying something, but I couldn't hear you. Well, anyway, destined for another coat. I've got a little bit of a weak spot right there. Not much, but a little bit of a weak spot. If I were doing this again from scratch, if I thought that this was going to be my final coat, I would have some real issues with this spot right here because it's just a little bit weak. Let me bring you around. Maybe you can see it. Actually, this is one of those times when it really shows up in the video really well. You can see it right there. It just, with everything else as reflective as it is, reflective, right? Reflective, right? And with everything else as reflective as that, this spot right here is really not reflective. It's very weak. Okay. Enough about the weaknesses. But I'm shocked. I just rocked back on my heels like a guy crowding the plate too much. Anyway, gonna have to take some sandpaper to this one because it's just too much. Just too much. I have no desire for this much sheen. Whew. So the drawer faces, they came out pretty much the same way. A little too much for my taste. Not anywhere near as shiny as the top because of gravity, maybe, I don't know. I had this bowl, which is not part of this story at all, but I had this bowl that I've been working on, and I put some of that same stuff on this. And I've managed to sand most of it off because it just scared me too much. Scared me too much. Definitely going to buff all this stuff down. And in the case of this, I buffed. In the case of this, I'll probably sand with 220 paper. But I'm going to buff all of this stuff down in one manner or another and give it another coat. I'm going to switch back to my satin finish. Looks like this. Looks like that. Same company, same stuff, right? Same stuff. Just obviously going for a little bit different thing. Typically, they put a little calcium carbonate, marble dust. You mix a tiny, very, very, very fine, finer than flour, fine, calcium carbonate. I'm not sure if that's what they use in the stuff, but that's what people typically use to produce a little bit of a broken finish, that satin finish. And I'm so much more comfortable with that. So we're definitely going to go there. Anyway, I'll buff this out. Get rid of all signs of that. I mean, back in the day, when we were putting stuff like this on floors, we get to people rarely liked their floors in the typical old house that I worked on. People rarely liked their floors this shiny. But we always knew that this shiny stuff was a better protection for the wood than the satin stuff. So what we used to do is put a couple of coats of this down and then put a couple of coats of satin on top of it. Theoretically, by the time you walked through the satin, you started scuffing this stuff and it didn't look so bad. The real problem with this stuff is what happens when it gets a little scuffed. But that's not going to be our problem because this is going to get scuffed right now with 220 sandpaper and then another coat of this put on top of it. I'll wipe it on. I'll have plenty of protection from the couple of coats that are already here. and I'll have a lot less of this sheen. And then just to make sure that there's no sheen, I'm going to go over it all with steel wool and wax, which basically is just going to give it a warm glow. It's going to be great. All right, let's get on with that. So, time to sand that last coat that I brushed on, all of the nits and specks of dust. Not much for irregularities, which is good. We get ready for a wiped coat. Look at this. You see a little line right there? That's a shadow of the snipe from the planer days ago. Funny. Cool. Ah, this is better than that shiny. That was just too shiny. All right, going to do the top now. Fresh piece of sandpaper. All right, fresh piece of 220 sandpaper. And now, oh yeah, the fresh one. Look at me go. Ain't shiny anymore. Nice thing about it is it's not gumming up the paper that much, which means that it's pretty well set up in 24 hours.
Now that is the low VOC version of tung oil.
This one says VOC compliant.
Okay.
The other one does not. So I'm going to try this VOC compliant one.
I think I got it close enough here.
Okay.
I'm going to be epoxying anyhow. And honestly, the back of this is not flat. I'll be lucky to get the same results with this piece.
It's true. It's true. It's true. It's a pig in a poke no matter how you do it. Yes. All right.
I'm feeling reasonably good about this.
Good. All right, just this rounded over part now. All right, that is that. That's nice. All good. All good. All right, now clean everything off and find a quiet place to wipe a coat on. Let's do that.
Hi, I'm Dave. Welcome to the shop. Another day, another dollar, as they say. You're getting a kick out of this. You know how I've been kind of working a project and it's gotten kind of tight on the timeline, and I'm under a fair amount of pressure to get this thing done. It's supposed to go out the door tomorrow morning, and today was the day I was going to wax it and be ready to go. And yesterday's finish didn't work out. I'll show you. I know the lighting's crappy, but if you get a kind of an image of streaky, just everything seems streaky, that's what this is. It's begging for another coat of finish.
You're being picky.
I'm being accurate. All right, so I've gone over this again with 220 sandpaper, and I believe that I've knocked the whole surface down. I believe I've made it all uniformly dull, although I still see streaks in it. I think some of those streaks are from that high gloss material that I put on. I hate myself for having done that. But that's done. That's been sanded, and it's smooth. And hopefully one more wiped coat will take care of it. I really hope so. I know you're pulling for me. I'm gonna, at this point, take this to a heated space so I can get it coated. I've got enough material to put another coat on. So I'll wipe another coat on and wax it before I leave in the morning. It'll be great. We'll see how that goes. Well, this is what happens when you run a one-man show and you run behind. This is last coat of tung oil being rubbed on here at home. It's warmer here and less dusty, and hopefully this will work out. The sheen looks a lot better now than it did earlier. It's a little shinier than normal right at the moment because it's wet. But all in all, I think it's going to look all right. So we'll see what it's like in the morning when we wax it, because that's what's going to happen. Thanks for watching. So, second coat of satin tung oil came out real well. The first coat with that high sheen I couldn't stand. It's now gone. We can't see it any longer. It's not bursting through. And I've just put a coat of wax on it and got all the little teeny bits of dust that got caught up in the top surface. It's settled out of the air. But sitting here overnight in the heated house, it went really well. Hardened up nicely, and the coat of wax made it very, very, very shiny. I'm really pleased. Drawers work like a charm. I'm really pleased all the way around. I like the no hardware sort of look, but I mean, this is something you just can fuss with, it turns out.
Are you going to do the back? You know, I thought you were talking to me till I realized you had your camera on.
Well, this is how gritty the reality of our TV is.
Hi.
Oh my God.
Maybe that picture will be on your YouTube thing.
Anyway, yes, I brought some home for all of the fun and frivolity that one can have at home with a piece of furniture. This is the back. And the back came out, for a back that no one's ever going to see, came out really well. I'm really pleased. I know you are. Thanks for sticking with me on this thing. At a couple of moments that weren't great, but it ends well. That's, I guess, Shakespearean.
Shakespearean, yes.
Thanks for watching. We'll catch you on the next one. We don't know what that's going to be, but it'll be great. Maybe, just maybe, we'll get a picture of this with a computer on top of it at the client's house. That would be fun.
Let's hope we can do that. We'll see it.